Now, from WYDC TV, this is Big Fox News at 10.
Good evening, I'm Anna Manuel. Thanks for joining us tonight. New York healthcare workers who were granted a religious exemption to the state's COVID-19 vaccine mandate will soon have to get vaccinated. This after a federal judge ruled in favor of the original vaccine mandate. Big Fox's Matt Kleindienst joins us from Corning with tonight's top story.
Good evening, Ann. Nearly 2 months after the initial vaccine deadline, unvaccinated healthcare workers now have 5 days to show to their employer they have at least one dose of the COVID vaccine. On Monday, the New York Department of Health sent out this memo to all healthcare providers in the state. It states that anyone who has previously been given a religious exemption to the COVID vaccine must either get vaccinated or provide a medical exemption by next week. This announcement comes a month after a federal judge ruled in favor of the state's original vaccine mandate for all healthcare workers. As of November 3rd, over 94% of all hospital workers have completed their vaccine series. About 86% of home health aides have also been vaccinated. It remains unclear at this time how many workers have claimed a religious exemption since the original vaccine deadline. It's estimated that about 3% of New York's healthcare workforce was lost as a result of the initial vaccine deadline. Matt Kleindienst, Big Fox, WYDC in Corning.
Governor Hochul is sounding the alarm about rising COVID cases throughout the state. Yesterday, she was speaking with local leaders in western New York, where the infection rate has spiked to 8%. The southern tier, meanwhile, has seen its positivity rate increase over 4.6%. Governor Hochul warned that some COVID protocols could possibly return if cases don't start coming down.
At some point, if the numbers don't start on a downward trend, we're going to have to talk about larger protocols, which we all know are available to us. So this is the warning. The warning is going out loud and clear today.
Hochul encouraged all residents to get vaccinated if they haven't done so and to wear their masks in public indoor spaces. Capitol riot defendant Jacob Chansley, better known as the QAnon shaman, is sentenced to 41 months in federal prison for his role in the January 6th attacks. Chansley was sentenced to more than 3 years in prison today by U.S. District Court Judge Royce Lamberth. The defendant did plead guilty to felony obstruction of an official proceeding relating to his conduct in the Capitol Hill uprising. The sentence, which will be reduced by the time Chansley has already served in jail since his arrest, was 10 months less than what federal prosecutors wanted. People across the country are gearing up for the Thanksgiving holiday. After the pandemic put a damper on in-person celebrations last year, this year many are expected to be back on the road and in the air to meet family and friends for Thanksgiving dinner. Today, TSA officials at LaGuardia Airport in New York said they expect Thanksgiving travel to be approaching the 2019 pre-pandemic levels. They're now reminding people about what to do for a smooth travel experience and also reminding travelers that the pandemic is not over and masks will still be required at the airport and on planes.
The TSA at LaGuardia Airport has been working with the Port Authority and our airline partners in preparation for the peak Thanksgiving travel period. It'll be starting from this Friday, the 19th of November, through Monday, the 29th of November. Now, we expect to see substantial increase in passenger volumes, which will be approaching the pre-pandemic 2019 period of volume that we saw from 2 years ago.
The TSA expects the Sunday after Thanksgiving to be the busiest travel day of the year. President Biden on the road for a second day in a row to highlight ways the money in the infrastructure bill will be spent. Meanwhile, Democrats on Capitol Hill have their eyes on another bill. Lauren Blanchard has more from Washington.
Speaker Nancy Pelosi is full steam ahead on a nearly $2 trillion social spending piece of legislation.
It's fabulous, it's great, it's big, but it's a good start.
While Congress is focused on what's ahead, President Biden continues his victory tour on the bipartisan infrastructure bill. Wednesday, he'll stop in Detroit to highlight an electric vehicle plant. The recently signed bill includes money for more charging stations.
Electric vehicles will still have the performance of an internal combustion engine, but will cost less, will have that same performance, will be cleaning up the economy.
Still, the president has his sights set on passing the Build Back Better bill. However, he doesn't have moderates in his party signed on yet. They want to know from the Congressional Budget Office exactly what the bill will cost and whether it's paid for.
Let's see what the score is.
Their concern, along with Republicans, is that there has been too much pandemic government spending.
President Biden is already telling us that you can't trust the CBO score. It's not 1.75 trillion, it's closer to 4 trillion. And what that will do to inflation is it's going to make it harder to make ends meet than it already is for most Americans.
House progressives want to move forward on a vote without the full CBO score. They say waiting was not something they agreed to with moderates. In Washington, Lauren Blanchard, Fox News.
Energy prices are on the rise as winter weather arrives in much of the country. Madison Allworth is on the road with an oil delivery company in New Jersey with how much we'll be paying to stay warm this year.
The cost of heating your home is going up. This winter, Americans could be paying as much as 50% more than they did last year to stay warm. I'm in a heating oil truck right now with Ariba Oil. Mike is driving around delivering that oil to those homes that are all expecting to pay more. And that's happening as the temperatures are going down and the cost of heat is going up. For the 5 million American homes that use heating oil, it's estimated that they will spend 39% more on their heating bills this year. But things could be worse if prices continue to rise and we have a colder than expected winter. If that happens, we could see price hikes of over 50%. Right now, the price of heating oil sits around $3.41 per gallon. This time last year, it was $2.17. And distributors like Ariba Oil are going to have to pass that cost on to customers if they want to make a profit.
People get scared about what they're going to be paying. They remember a few years back when they were paying $4 a gallon for fuel. We're at the whim of the market. You know, if they go up in price, we have to go up in price. If they go down, we go down.
Here in the Northeast, residents rely more on heating oil than any other part of the U.S. About 18% of homes here use heating oil. And those Americans can expect to pay more this year compared to last year, which is really the case across all different types of heating sources. In New Jersey, I'm Madison Allworth, Fox Business.
Still ahead tonight, Thanksgiving is just over a week away, and one organization is doing its part to make sure veterans have all the trimmings for their holiday meal.
If this just takes some of that stress away from them and they can have a great meal and relax a little and enjoy the day, that just makes it special to us.
How they're helping vets with meals at a time when food prices are skyrocketing.
Here's your local stock market update from Big Fox. Now, your Twin Tiers forecast from Big Fox.
Tonight's Big Fox forecast is brought to you by William Mattar. Good evening, everyone. Today, temperatures did manage to get into the mid-40s across many of our hometowns, but clouds really started to increase. And by tonight into early tomorrow, we are expecting a few showers. During the day, those temperatures will be plunging, so I think it's going to actually be a little bit warmer in the morning and then in the afternoon. And then on Friday, behind this front, it will be windy and it will be chilly, and we do have the possibility of a few flurries as well. But for your Tuesday, a cold front that is located in the Great Lakes region will continue to move to the east, and it will land right over our area for tomorrow. And then as we head into your Friday, I think those temperatures will really plunge as northerly winds start to blow in. So here's a look at your Thursday's forecast. Temperatures in the 50s as we start off the day. I think those temperatures will be well above freezing, so all the precipitation will be falling as rain. 57 degrees at 10 o'clock. I think that will be our high, reached in the late morning hours, and then And we're going to see a tumble in our temperatures in the afternoon. Cloudy conditions with a few showers possible as well. By 10 o'clock in the evening, we do drop down into the 30s. So our future radar is showing a few showers coming in from the west. And so we could wake up to a few sprinkles, and then the activity picks up in the afternoon. By lunchtime, it looks like Steuben as well as Chemung County, we're going to get in on the action, and this will start to progress to the east by 6 o'clock in the evening. So we start to dry out, but as those temperatures drop to close to the freezing mark in the evening and into the overnight, we are expecting the possibility of some snow developing, and that will really drive through some of our hometowns. By 6 o'clock in the morning, just a few flurries possible in some of our hometowns, and then we should see drier conditions, at least for your Saturday. And then on Sunday, we have another storm system that will be approaching. It will be moving into the Great Lakes region by Sunday night, and it will help to spread some rain across the Twin Tiers by Sunday night into Monday. So another system will be coming our way. Tonight, though, we drop down to around 47 degrees under mostly cloudy conditions. Rain chances tomorrow, and those temperatures will be plunging throughout the day. Our high will be reached in the late morning, around 57 degrees. And then from there, we drop down into the 40s. 43, chilly and windy on Friday. Overnight lows plunging down into the 20s. We'll stay in the 40s through the weekend, but it will be a little bit warmer on Sunday with a high of around 49 degrees. There is the possibility of rain late in the day, and then more chances of rain on Monday, and then colder air will start to move in by the middle of next week.
A man is accused of stealing $850,000 worth of baby formula. He was arrested in Northern California. Rowena Shattuck spoke with the sheriff's office there about the case.
He walked into the baby formula aisle and immediately began stuffing that box with numerous containers of baby formula.
Target surveillance video captured a man sheriff's detectives say is a suspected member of an organized retail theft crime ring that's been hitting Target stores around Northern California.
It appears that this suspect knows what he's doing. He's engaged in this type of activity before, and so he actually stole nearly $850 worth of baby formula from that specific Target here in Auburn on Bell Road.
The incident happened Sunday night. A Target employee called the sheriff's office reporting a high dollar value theft going on in their store. When deputies responded and tried to stop him, he led deputies on a short car chase on I-80, but they eventually arrested 30-year-old Dylan Norman Levitt, a transient from Sacramento. The manager of this Target tells me that they credit their asset protection team for helping crack this case. Fox 40 reached out to Target about the theft and the suspect. Target stores telling Fox 40 in part, last weekend the security team at the Auburn Target store observed a man shoplifting baby products and immediately called the Placer County Sheriff's Office. We also had evidence of many different shoplifting incidents with the same individual and turned the information over to law enforcement.
The suspect is known to frequent Target stores around the region, and he had engaged in similar activity and has been responsible for the theft of about $33,000 worth of baby formula.
Levitt now facing charges of organized retail theft, failure to yield, and resisting a peace officer.
Thanksgiving just over a week away, and one organization is doing its part to make sure veterans have all the trimmings for their holiday meal. Courtney Godfrey has more.
Hi there, how are you? One by one, they came from all over the metro.
And where would you like your box today?
Opening their trunks for a box full of gratitude.
Here is your card. Thank you so very, very much for your service.
You actually feel like you're making a difference, and people are actually appreciating the things that you do, even though they don't see you every single day.
50 active duty and post 9/11 veteran families showing up in Eden Prairie to receive all the fixings for a traditional Thanksgiving meal.
If this just takes some of that stress away from them and they can have a great meal and relax a little and enjoy the day, that just makes it special to us.
Led by Operation Homefront, the meals come at a time when food prices are skyrocketing.
It means a lot, just making sure my kids have good meals.
This member of the Air Force Reserve saying the groceries she received tonight will make all the difference this holiday.
I'm recently a single mom, so I wasn't sure how we were going to do the holidays. And this really means a lot.
And those are exactly the kind of stories that drive them.
Hopefully, she drove away from this evening feeling like there are people out there who appreciate her and that there are people who know that the work that she's doing is vital to our country.
Thanks for your service. There is another shortage this holiday season that has nothing to do with supply chain issues. There aren't enough Santa's helpers to go around this year. Tom Zizga tells us more on what's causing the shortage.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas! Gordon Taylor is just getting started. He expects he'll bellow that iconic greeting more times than ever this holiday season. Ho, 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 ho!
This year, it's unbelievable. My phone won't quit ringing.
Where normally he might have a steady set of gigs to appear as a Santa helper, this year is different. Between now and Christmas, Taylor says he's got dozens of appearances, and they keep coming. And he's not alone either. The staffing agency Hire Santa says there's a 121% increase in requests for St. Nick this year compared to last, and 15% fewer people to play the part. Chalk it up to COVID and retirement. Gordon Taylor says he's lost 5 friends in just the last few months.
Some of these Santas at their age, they've got a whole lot better chance of getting sick. And nowadays, you don't get over the sick. It's deadly.
And there's demand. After a season where people kept their social distance, making up for lost time might make it a challenge for Santa to come to every town he's needed. But Gordon Taylor says he's ready with a fresh set of gloves, candy cane buttons, monogrammed clothes, and his big black boots. He's excited to get back to it.
The spirit of Christmas is still alive, and these kids still believe, and they've got the right to believe, and they've got the right to see Santa.
Love McDonald's Egg McMuffins, but miss their old price? Well, we've got some good news for you. McDonald's is celebrating its popular breakfast menu items' 50th anniversary starting tomorrow by selling them for just 63 cents. That's the original price. Netflix is changing how it measures viewership. It will now rank its top shows and movies by the total number of hours watched, which it will update weekly. Netflix had previously measured viewership by the number of subscribers who watched at least 2 minutes of a program. A 12-year-old Boy Scout springing into action, using the skills he's learned and those from his brother, an Eagle Scout, to help a couple and their dog who got lost on a trail in Hawaii. Sam Spangler has more.
There are different hikes on the Waimano Trail above Pearl City. On August 29th, local residents JD and Amy took their dog Smokey for what they thought would be just a 2-mile hike. They got lost and ended up 7 miles deep into the trail. They didn't see anybody for hours, but then they ran into David and his mom Christine, who were finishing up David's 15-mile merit badge hike just before dusk.
And then we asked, do you need any help? And they said, yeah, because then they showed us that the dog's paws had some cuts on it, so it hurt when the dog would walk. When the dog would walk, it would just be really painful.
JD tried to carry the dog on his back, but it was just too heavy. That's when David's scout training kicked in.
So we built them a stretcher using a big tree branch that we broke in half. Then we used our shirts and slid it on and used the armholes to fit the sticks through.
It's a technique David learned from his older brother, who is an Eagle Scout. Christine was skeptical it would work.
It actually was his idea to make the stretcher because we didn't think it was going to work because we didn't think a dog would get on a stretcher. But the dog was so tired, Smokey, that he was just very happy to get on the stretcher and we just carried him out.
Christine and David didn't have any cell service, so they all took turns carrying Smokey 3 miles back to the entrance. It wasn't easy on David, who had just played a soccer game before going on his 15-mile hike.
It was really tough, but we rotated. So sometimes we did 4 people, 1 on each side, or 2 on each side, and then we went to 2 people, like my mom and the man, and then we go back, and then the dog would get off and walk some, which was really helpful to let us relax.
They made it out. Smokey was able to get his injuries cared for and is now doing well. David says it's a good reminder to be prepared before hitting the trail, packing water and food, and knowing your route.
Just make sure that whenever you're doing an activity, always think of what can go wrong and how you can prevent it.
His most important takeaway? How good it feels to help others.
I think that when you help someone out, it's there's something joy in you that's just you did something good that day.
We want to leave you with a smile tonight. Some newcomers will be looking to steal the show this year at the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Keep an eye out for the latest floats to make a debut down the streets of Manhattan next Thursday morning. A giant peacock will be featured on NBC's float for its streaming service. A celebration gator is making its way up from the bayou for the Louisiana Office of Tourism float. And some elephants will stand tall on the Kalahari Resorts and Conventions display. Disney and Hines hope to give you some seafaring dreams with a Magic Meets the Sea cruise line and Gravy Pirates floats, respectively. And finally, a new reindeer will be flying in to welcome the Christmas season. From our whole team, thank you for joining us. We hope you have a great night.